Today I'm going to show you how to shape a headstock on a paddle neck blank. Hey everybody, this is Matt. We're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. Today I thought we'd do a quick video where we take one of these paddle headstocks and make the headstock how we want it to look. Now, this is a paddle headstock that I got from my buddy Steve over at Maximum Guitar Works. See, you can even see where it says Maximum Guitar Works right there. And when you buy these, you can have Steve do lots of things to the neck or few things to the neck. And so this is a very basic neck though. It came with no frets, so we pressed the frets in. These have the hemispherical fret ends, which Brandon did, and they look super cool. But I need to shape the headstock because while this is neat, it's not what I want it to look like. So one of the things that you can do is you can draw this out on a piece of paper and make a bunch of copies of it, and you can kind of draw your own thing. Like you say, well, I want my headstock to look, wow, that's terrible looking. But you know, I mean, you could make it look like fangs if you wanted, or you could make it look, you know, you could cut all this off. The important thing though is that from here to here needs to stay the same, because these holes for the tuners need to be where they are in relation to this edge here. But pretty much all of this down here and around the front, that can look however you want it to look. Please don't do this headstock. It's too stupid. So you could get like some templates and you could say, do this Telly style one, or you could do this Ibanez style one. This looks like a Sir style, or if you're feeling particularly daring, you could do something like this. Of course, this has 3 tuners on each side instead of 6. So yeah, you can kind of put this on here and go, that looks neat. Let's see here. Let's see how close we can get. It's hard to do on this side because of the scoop in the. But you can draw that out there. I have actually drawn it on the back because it's very easy to draw on the back. There's no little scoop. So I've gone ahead and drawn the headstock that I want to use on the back because it's easier to draw on the back. Now, the downside is it's harder to cut when it's on the back because you have to send it through your bandsaw like this. It would be easier if you could send it through like this on the flat spot. But I'm going to show you some ways around that. Of course, if you're using a coping saw or doing it by hand, then it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to show you how to do this with the bandsaw and the little oscillating drum sander. And we're going to turn this into something really cool. And it's not going to take too long. I'm going to show you some tricks and hopefully save you guys some time when it's time to do yours. So let's go into the wood shop where it's noisy and echoey, and I get it. For all you guitar players who, it's so hard for me to hear with the echo. I'm sorry your life turned out so hard. Okay, let's go into the wood shop where it's echoey and all the tools are, and let's turn this into a guitar headstock. Because remember, I'm a guitar builder, not a video maker. All right, let's do it. Okay, so here we are in the wood shop, gang, and I'm at my bandsaw. Remember I was saying that if you have your drawing on the top, it's considerably easier to move your piece through. But since my drawing is on the back, I need to stand it off so that I can run through. But it's not a big deal to just get a little piece of something and rest it on there and run it through the saw. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. For the purposes of this video, I will not be running the vacuum, but I want you guys to always think about dust collection when you're at home. Think about taking off all this stuff that you have on your arms so you don't get caught in the machine. Roll up your sleeves, that kind of thing. And yeah, eye protection, ear protection. Okay, that should cover the safety sallies, right? I'm not going to take this off because I don't, because it actually gives me a lot of energy and mojo. It's sort of like the whole Herculean thing. Okay, if you're into mythology. All right, so I've got my headstock drawn on here. I'm just going to cut this out on the bandsaw as close to the line as I can, and then we're going to finish it up on the edge sander. Ready? Here we go. I want to get as much of the headstock on this kind of backer board as I can. And if I cut into the backer board, that's not a big deal. Sometimes I like to drag this piece across the saw, and it's a little bit like an automatic rasp. But so that's pretty close. See, we're having looking pretty good. We're pretty close to where we need to be. Now we just need to clean this up on the spindle sander, and it's going to look great. Now all that's left to do is to sand this patch here and melt this edge in, and the best way I have found to do that is just with like 60 or 80 grit sandpaper. You can even get a rasp on it. Let's go do that now. Okay, I've got just a little rasp. I've got the neck clamped up so it's not going anywhere, and I'm just gonna kind of break this corner, which I know I don't want to be there, so I kind of just gotta get in there and just bust it off, and it's not gonna take much. But if you don't do this, you're going to be bummed out later. So take a little bit of time. There we go. See, that's easy. And then we'll get a hunk of some 80 grit sandpaper here, and we'll just kind of start attacking it and blending it in. I had 60 grit paper on my spindle sander, so we'll just blend that in. And the rest of this neck has a little, just the corner is just broken off a little bit, so we'll go ahead and do that. And it's going to look great. And of course, we'll go through with all of the, got to go through all the grits, right? So as soon as we get all the 60 grit scratches out with the 80 grit, well, then we'll get the 80 grit scratches out with like 100 or 120. And then we'll get the 120 grit scratches out with 150. And we'll go to 220 and so on and so on. And this neck will be ready to go. But this process, see how handy it is to have this thing bolted down? You can kind of move around it and get to all the hard to reach spots. And it just makes it nice to have a hold of it. This is not a sophisticated piece here. It's just basically it's a piece of plywood that I doubled up and I drilled a hole in it for a clamp. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And I'm not going to bore you guys with going through the various sanding grits. But, yeah, there you go. Now this has no side dots on it, so it could either be a lefty neck or it could be a up-C side down-E righty neck, depending on where you put the side dots. And it looks pretty good. Just a little more sanding. We'll obviously erase this stuff here. It's easier to erase it than it is sand it off, so we'll just go ahead and erase that off. I feel a little bit like Roy Underhill. I'm rushing a little bit here. I love Roy Underhill. So yeah, we'll just kind of break that edge off, and we'll be ready to keep sanding, because sanding is what we do, and sanding is what you do. It's what I do. So yeah, we love sanding, right? And this neck will be ready for finish in no time. So a couple of things I want to talk to you guys about, though. When you're designing your headstock, here's a secret. The big companies don't want you to know this. Back in the old days, the tools that they had at their disposal, I think, dictated what a headstock looked like. So if you had an oscillating spindle sander at your disposal, you would be wise to make the radiuses of your headstock match the radiuses of your the radii. For that one guy who asked, is it like an unspoken thing that guys on your channel have to say radiuses instead of radii? He's probably not watching, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, all of these contours here, if you have a tool that is the same diameter as these contours, that matches these contours, you will be money ahead. I can't tell you how many times people have drawn stuff that has, kind of hard corners, and I'm like, have fun sanding that. So, because it's not fun, and it's not something that you'd want to do 150 times an hour if you worked at an old school guitar company where you had to make headstocks over and over and over again. So I would urge you all to, unless you have a great big CNC machine or even a little CNC machine that cuts out your headstocks for you, if you're doing it the way that I showed you today, try and make your headstock match the tooling that you have, and I guarantee you will be happy. Cool? Okay, so if you guys have any questions about doing headstocks this way on a paddle style neck that you get from Steve at Maximum Guitar Works, please leave them in the comments down below, and I'll try to answer those as best as I can. If you have any questions about Maximum Guitar Works next, please check out Steve over at Maximum Guitar Works. Let them know that the guys at Texas Toast sent you. If you would like to do this with your own neck and you want to come here and do it, I urge you to sign up for one of our Build Your Own Guitar workshops. We have Build Your Own Fender, where you get a neck like this. We have a classic woodworking workshop where you start with just chunks of wood and make everything to this step and beyond. We have lots and lots and lots of workshops, and we would love to see you guys at one this year or in 2023. Or if you're watching this video in 2025, we hope to see you at the next year. You get what I'm driving at. So anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. If you like the video, give me the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button. If you appreciate content like this, I urge you to become a Patreon member or a member on YouTube. We have exclusive content, including our neck through series that we are working on right now. And if you want to see those, the only way you can is if you're a member. So, but if you can't do that, guys, I totally understand. Please like the video, share the video, as many places as you can think of, and help us grow the channel that way. Okay, guys, have a great one. We'll see you next time.